Okay, the story was good, but it was pretty simple. Um, I thought, you're not getting anything like amazing out of this, clearly, but you're not gonna get scammed. I mean, it's a Persona spinoff. What do you expect? Um, but it was fun. And there were some moments that I genuinely found good, but there was a lot of them that, uh, you could take it or leave it. Um, I disliked Toshiro in the beginning of it, heavily because he thought he was whiny and complainy, which, hell, I mean, the writers did a good job on that because that's what I was supposed to feel. But, I did like him towards the end, and I think he had a very good character arc, and I really enjoyed that character. So I thought he was really, really nice addition. Um, I did have. So I also wrote down that Toshiro was a little bit parasocial. So because he has Arena as his persona, and Arena is obviously this person he met, like this high school person he met, in high school person he met in high school. When they met when they were high schoolers, and then obviously they had the incident and she moved away, and then like later he um like she is his heart now, and she is the rebellion within him, and then it just works out. I mean, it's cheesy, but it was just like, damn, bro. Like, oh, there's other fish in the sea, bro. Is parasocial, but it worked out. So hey, um, let's see. Oh yeah, I didn't really have this problem with other like even Persona games really. But I think this one you could have cut out the final act. You could have ended it after the third battle with the boss, and he was fighting its Shadow Toshiro, and you could have ended it there, and it would have been, I think, a much. Well, I'm not sad with the ending they got, but I just thought it dragged on a little bit long. I was kind of disinterested in the game, going towards the end. So yeah, uh, but I mean, it isn't bad. The ending wasn't bad. And it's better to have more content than less, I guess, but also it would have been a more concise story. I felt like if it ended after like he realized and got his resolve, and then he went back to the real world, I think that would have been a little bit better. But you don't ask me, I'm not the writers. Um, but I don't know. It just kind of seemed like the last act dragged, and they're like, "Oh, we have to do a giant final boss." And a lot of the refights too were just uninteresting. And I just didn't care about. Um, but yeah, I felt like it could have ended a little bit sooner. Because like even in like other Persona games, like in like Persona 3, it's kind of built in that like Nynx has been affecting people, and he's the reason why. It You had Strager as like the side plot that tied it in. I think, as much as I have my problems with Persona 3, it it had that going for it, where the giant god at the end made sense, or Persona 4 where it was the fog, right? It was this god who was giving this all to these other people. Like, I don't know, maybe I was just younger when I played those, and who cared? But also, yeah, I don't know, kind of sucked. Um, Maybe it's nostalgia. For the gameplay, I wrote down it was pretty easy. I played on the hardest difficulty. Well, on hard. I forget if you unlocked a harder difficulty at the end. You unlocked a cool screen, but I'm not playing through the game again. But I mean, for like even for tactic games, it was really easy. Like I was remembering on the the second boss, Toshiro's dad, where you have to get to his podium. Like there was one point where I got to his podium, like right in front of his podium in the first turn. Second turn, a bunch of guys appear in front of the podium, and I just walk Fox up, and then it's just like, oh, I won. It was so anticlimactic too. And even like the refights, none of the bosses, I never like lost a battle. I restarted sometimes because I wanted to get 3 stars. And I but like I never was like restarting because I was in danger of losing. And I even did all the other side battles. Some of the side battles were hard. Like the ones we have to do it in one turn. There was a specific one with Fox, Makoto, um, and then I think you had the one of the random character. That one was hard. That one had me restart a bunch, but that was like none of the main missions did, and even most of the side missions weren't that hard. Um, and again, a lot of the later game just dragged on. I felt even the final boss. The final boss had a cool concept, but it was not hard. I didn't have to restart. I didn't even none of my characters even dropped below half health. Um, and I was playing on the hardest difficulty. So I'm not even that good at tactics games. I kind of suck. So I don't know. That was a little disappointing, but also it was a fun game. And I'm not qualming it. Uh, second boss was way too easy. One more is the one more mechanic was kind of cool. I did enjoy that. I thought it was going to be pretty useless because height's not even in some of the levels. Uh, and of course, it only comes into play when you knock someone off from a higher ground. But it did come in a lot, and it was really fun. And there was also some other fun stuff like um, the people with ultimates, like Yusuke's. Yusuke had his ultimate where he put on the shadow clones, and then he still got to move again. That one was really good, and that one I really liked, because you could put it down, and it didn't count as a one more, so you couldn't do any like all out attacks off of it, but you could position him around, and since he has like so high movement, and there's some of his gun ranges, like especially if you fuse the guns out of the persona, got so high that he was really fun to play with. Um, and then oh yeah, so my final thing was like I was thinking, like I'm fine with the final boss as it was because it was really fun, but also like I was thinking when I was getting to it, like in Persona 5 Strikers, they had like you use all the characters. In Tactica, they didn't, which is fine, but that's what I was expecting. But I think I got something better than what I was expecting. So, it was just different than I expected. It also ended different. Like I thought that like as soon as Toshiro got out of the metaverse, he was going to call Arena, and like because the thing was like, oh, like once you become prime minister, call me. I'll be the first one to interview you. And he didn't. He just broke on the news, and kind of I thought he was going to go to her and be like, you need a story, I got this crazy story, and then they were going to publish a thing um against his dad. But no, he was thanking some old people on the street, and she came up and shook his hand, uh which you know it was a fine ending. I don't have any qualms with it. One thing cool about the that they never really like mentioned at all was that Arena's eye was all covered, and then you found out in the boss fight that she was missing the eye, because of the accident, and then they never really covered it, and then they just let it sit there, and like I thought because usually they make a big fuss about it, which is fine. It's anime. It's supposed to be like cheesy and bad, um, but they didn't, and it was just I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool, something different. Who cares? Um, Anyways, that's about it. That's my thoughts.